introducing Microsoft 365 E7. But thank you everyone who has joined. Good to see you all. My name is Ian Gerard. I head up the Microsoft licensing team, traditionally from the Ultima side. We've also got Sean Hanna, who is the practice director on the Trustmarque side, and kind of between us, we help support all of our customers regarding that Microsoft piece, the licensing piece, the what should I buy, when should I buy it, what's the new news. You can kind of contact us through your account managers, through your kind of existing contacts, or alternatively, contact details will be shared after this webinar as well. A good insight, like maybe you don't want to kind of show your full hand, but please let us know your questions, and even if you want to kind of send us those questions privately, this will kind of help direct us to make sure that we really kind of support your answers and your questions. But I will kind of run through what is included in Microsoft 365 E7. We'll go down to the detail and into the products that are included and what they kind of are and what they kind of do. I'll then run into the commercials, how much the thing costs, some of the actual tangibles, some of the black and white of it all. Microsoft, again, even within the kind of last few days, last 48 hours, we've had some additional updates. I'll run through frequently asked questions. And like I said, we want to be really kind of open with regards to the questions you may have, which you may want to share, you may not want to share, but we'll cover those off at the end. So we'll cover off the questions that we do know about. And at the end, there'll be an opportunity for you to ask questions as we go as well. Please feel free to drop those questions into the chat, and myself and Sean will cover them off as we go. Judging the level of detail is always a tricky one, because every organization is going to have their own particular priorities, drivers, how much you've invested already. So kind of when we're doing webinars like this, kind of judging the right level. You don't want to patronize your audience, but you don't want to make any assumptions either. So please acknowledge the fact that we may be covering stuff you already know. You may be leaving this thinking, yeah, that's not quite the level of detail that I want. What we're looking to do is really cover off the facts as we know them and kind of understand where the conversation is, where we're kind of seeing it develop, and whether that's opportunity, whether that's risk, whether it's just kind of information download. So you're going to also kind of think, oh, well, to invigorate those types of questions, to kind of start questioning your own environment. But then really when you want to kind of really truly understand value or return on investment, or just where it is in your kind of strategic or technical roadmap, you're only going to achieve that really by engaging with us. If you've got an upcoming quarterly review, fantastic. If you have not, then please contact me, contact Sean, contact your Trustmarque, contact your Ultima account manager or team, or similarly the contact details will be made. So it's really only once you start getting involved with what you've kind of got and where you're kind of going, will the kind of question of whether E7 is right for you come alive. We really do. That's quite a lot of padding I've just done there, but it is relevant and it is important. But I am going to start on some of the content now as well. But I don't think I can really talk about it too succinctly until I just want to cover off where we are in regards to the merger between Ultima and Trustmarque, which I'm sure you've seen lots of material around. I'm sure you're very kind of aware around these changes, the fact that, who are Ultima and Trustmarque today, now that we've kind of come together. So this is a good slide, I think, to kind of give you a snapshot of what the new organization is. We're kind of bringing together 40 years across various partnerships across the NHS, across public sector, across corporate, commercial, enterprise. We really combine all of our skills together to produce a global delivery capability. Will support thousands of customers, 3,000 plus customers across every major technology domain. We've got our big bets, the stuff that we're doing that excites us, that innovates us, that innovates our customers. We work in a kind of big partnership, but we really do cover that full technical domain and really look to take it across the market. We're the experts. We want to be the experts. We want you to trust us to help you deliver whatever your kind of priority is. We look to enter into long-term partnerships with the customers that we work with. Scale does matter, but not for its own sake, for what it enables. So actually, we can approach this as a true global kind of service delivery organization. So I suppose the good news is that there's just a lot more resource, a lot more accreditation. We can kind of deliver multiple complex mission critical work. We work with you over an extended time period. So it's all around kind of trusting in us, trusting in that consistency, trusting in that value. So yes, Ultima Trustmarque. We don't have a new name yet, but we are certainly making strides in our value add, and certainly our customers are starting to see that. Certainly our partnerships are starting to see that as well. It's all about credibility. It's all about resilience. It's all about excellence, about making commitments and then delivering on them. So today we are kind of hopefully looking to fulfill on an element of that in regards to the Microsoft licensing element of that and introducing Microsoft 365 E7. So I think we will really kind of start on the content here, and do feel free to drop in the questions. So let's first and foremost, let's kind of introduce what Microsoft 365 E7 is. It's called the Frontier Suite. It demonstrates Microsoft's inability to count, or they just don't really like even numbers. So E1 to E3 to E5 to E7, and so on and so forth. So the naming, actually, this kind of Frontier Suite does come from 2025. Microsoft coined the term the Frontier Firm, and this really is what Microsoft have strategically positioned E7 for. It's kind of driving towards this new kind of organization as they see it. So they see it as an organization that has AI embedded in its core. If kind of, Copilot currently is kind of the capabilities of AI. What can AI do for us? E7 is kind of that reframing of how do we control the AI that's going on throughout our organization. If I had to summarize, what is Microsoft 365 E7? It's asking the question of how are you planning to govern IT agents across your organization? If you're hearing that question, you're thinking, it's irrelevant. We don't have any ATI. We don't have any any agents. Then it's probably a step too early. But if actually you are seeing this, this creation of multiple agents across the business, it is something that you're going to have to control. It is something that that Agent 365, could become relevant for you. Microsoft 365 E7. Let's just take a moment. Apologies. Microsoft 365 E7 is basically the full version of Microsoft 365 E5. In addition to E5, you've got the Entra Suite thrown in on top. You've got Microsoft Copilot, Microsoft Enterprise Copilot, and you have also got Microsoft Agent 365. So these are as a new bundle that's coming out on the 1st of May. And actually, it's also Microsoft Agent 365 is being released also on the 1st of May. So a lot of this is about what is Microsoft Agent 365? Is it right for our organization? What does it do? So it's a good time to kind of break down what exactly is included within that E7 suite. So I mentioned E5. And again, I will kind of assume, maybe you've got E3, you can jump from E3 to E7. You don't have to go incrementally step by step, by the way. But that E5, much the same as E3, that's those core Office applications, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, your desktop license, Entra ID, Intune, all of that good stuff. E5 introduces Purview Suite, Defender Suite, Teams Phone, making, Cloud PBX and also Power BI Pro on the Power Platform. So 365 E7 is effectively introducing the full Entra Suite for some of the advanced identity and kind of identity control and management of your users and the profile of your users. It's also got 365 Copilot. That's Enterprise Copilot. Is there any info in the academic SKU? Immediately distracted by the first question that comes up. And no, there isn't. It's actually not going to be. The news at the moment, and I do cover this off later on, so I really shouldn't be so distracted, but no, neither not-for-profit, charitable, education, government, central or regional. So, and then the bigger, so it's Copilot Enterprise within E7, but then it's also this introduction of Microsoft Agent 365. Oh, and Microsoft Agent 365 isn't available currently. It is going to be coming out on the 1st of May. We know that E7, we've got the pricing at $99 per user per month. We are going to start getting visibility soon of the UK kind of sterling price point on that. Should start seeing that kind of towards the end of this month once we start getting available, once those May price lists start becoming available. And it's going to be still the same thing. Well, actually, you kind of count up the individual SKUs when it comes to the commercials, when it just comes for the black and white value. Is it cheaper to buy the individual components, or is it going to be cheaper to buy the overall suite? I can tell you it's going to be cheaper to buy the overall E7 suite, because if we think that's at £100, if E5 is at $100, E5 is at $60, and then you've enter Suite at 12. Copilot for Enterprise at 30 and Agent 365 for about 15. So buy them together, but only just. You need to be using all of these products to get the full value in E7. When it comes to Copilot, and again, this is really, there's going to be different levels of understanding and kind of knowledge in regards to what an AI agent is. Some of you are going to be using them already, kind of all over this. Some of you maybe got an idea. Some people maybe potentially don't really know what Microsoft kind of class and what an AI agent is. So, Microsoft 365 Copilot, that one for $30 per user per month. That's where an individual user can go and ask the internet the answer to the question, but it also looks internally, you kind of embedded within Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Exchange, within your calendar, within Teams. Summarize this meeting. What's this? What's that? Then really Microsoft Agent 365 is around governing the various agents that your users might create with something like Microsoft Copilot Studio. So a user will create an AI agent. The kind of the purpose of an AI agent is to understand a goal, kind of observe some data, some users, some systems, and it makes decisions and it takes actions, and the idea it learns and adapts over time. So you could use it within your organization. You could quite simply say, resolve this resource ticket that I've got, create this pipeline, do this task, do this repeatable task. And actually, suddenly you then got users creating multiple agents throughout your organization. You kind of pay for that using Copilot credits. It can take about, maybe you get given kind of 25,000 credits a month. It'd be maybe 1,000 credits per interaction, depending on the various kind of agents and stuff it's looking to do. But suddenly you've got multiple users creating multiple AI agents across your organization. It's kind of interacting with Microsoft Graph. It's running, it's adapting and using it time. Mostly they're going to be using maybe even external agents or autonomous agents who can actually take work off their desk. But suddenly you've got a kind of an identity now where you've got not unlimited, but a large number of agents throughout your organization. And Microsoft Agent 365 is effectively giving each one of those agents like an agent ID, like within Entra ID. So you don't get shadow AI within your organization. You can kind of monitor, manage, govern and control all of these agents across your organization. So it kind of manages permissions, ownership. So you can kind of really kind of lock down that IT agent. So again, we kind of return to that question, which is how are you planning to cover IT agents across your organization? If you're seeing these agents being created and you're thinking, I am getting kind of shadow AI here, this is something I'm struggling to control, this is going to be an agent issue for me, then actually E7 could be something of interest to yourself. But there's also the fact that we kind of mentioned that it's going to be available as an individual suite as well. So you can just buy Agent 365 if that's what you need. It's $100 per user per month. With the commercials, with the licensing commercials, Microsoft have released a couple of promos. Quite bluntly, available from the 1st of May up until the end of December. If you're just buying 10 licenses for E7, it's a 10% discount on CSP. If you're buying over 100, that jumps up to 15% discount on on your Microsoft license. So these are some of the introductory offers. We are still seeing offers out there for E5 and for Copilot and for Purview as well. So this isn't diminishing those offers. This is working in in alignment with them. Actually, there's some really interesting areas that this might tell us around what you might want to do to future proof and when this becomes value to yourself. But let's just kind of cover through some of the frequently asked. When is it released? The 1st of May. Is Microsoft 365 E7 available to different audiences, government, education, non-profit? At this point, no, it's not. It's not in the sovereign clouds at launch. That's all we can say. Is kind of managing the agents, this sounds like an admin task. This sounds like something maybe only a subset of users. So it is E7 actually just designed for kind of admins or the IT team? And no, it is 100% designed for all users. The question of whether all users would get value is very much where the question is, and probably something you're kind of putting to the front of that conversation, which is, would every single user need a Agent 365? So look, there's some very, very pertinent, very relevant questions to ask regarding that. But Microsoft have designed E7 as a kind of for all users, because it includes E5 and the desktop license and Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Exchange, and all of that kind of good stuff. Do I need Microsoft 365 E7 to use Agent 365? No, actually it's being released on the 1st of May as well. So you can actually just buy Agent 365 as an individual add-on, as you can the Entra Suite, as you can Copilot, M365 Enterprise Copilot. All of these parts of E7 are going to be available as individual components. And really, only once you buy all of them is it going to be the best value from a purely kind of licensing black and white commercial point of view. Are there any prerequisites to buying kind of E7? Do you have to be on E5? No, not at all. Look, with certain features, we do understand that it would require an E3 or an E5, so you've got that kind of office-based license, such as or that exchange-based license to use all of the features, but it's not a commercial prerequisite. A technical prerequisite, almost certainly, because it's going to be, what kind of agents are they going to be running if they don't have like an office license or an exchange license and Teams and what have you? But from a commercial side, it's not a prerequisite. If we already have, this is a good one. So this is something which is kind of hot off the press. It's kind of like, well, I'm midterm. Kind of got some E3s, I've got some E5s, I've got some E1s, I've got some users with Copilot. We've started to explore Studio. Yeah, maybe Entra Suite. So and unsurprisingly, right, Microsoft want to make it very, very easy to move to E7. So yeah, you can do a kind of a midterm adoption and consolidation of your various different commitment SKUs and co-terming dates to have a kind of singular, and that would also qualify for the commercial discounts as well. So again, that is something that's possible. Are there any kind of global or language restrictions? No. It's going to be a worldwide service available in all of the regions, in all of the data centers where where there is kind of Microsoft 365 as well. There is still a degree that we don't know. There's also a lot of conversation and material in regards to Microsoft and actually why are they releasing this now? Why are they doing this now? And Microsoft will certainly talk about this, or do talk about this frontier firm, about this new kind of organization which is kind of embeds AI at its core. So they're seeing this as a real kind of industry push. It's kind of moving to an all demand resource rather than headcount line item. It is kind of around utilizing hybrid teams, new ways of working, and all of this kind of vernacular, all of this kind of conversation. That I think there does need to be some acknowledgement that Microsoft's year end is June. These incentives have been extended to their mid-year next year. There's certainly a push for adoption. Certainly Microsoft need to see some good numbers in regards to their own kind of terms and what they're reporting and their success. So it is interesting. They are following the industry, but there is certainly a certain amount of Microsoft interest in generating more sales of this. It's quite rare. It is rare to see a suite like E7 released, and then one of its component parts to have the same release date. Normally you'd see Agent 365 being within the market, kind of being available 3-6 months, maybe even a year. Then you bundle it up to push it, like we've seen with Enterprise Copilot. But Agent 365 being released on the 1st of May at the same time as this new suite does feel like something they're very, I don't want to use the word rushed, but I've said it now, and it's all around making sure it's right for your organization at the right time. Is it good value? I mean, that question is going to be answered in a variety of different ways by your own technical and strategic roadmap. Is it good value? You need to be buying and using all the individual components. Is it a bit soon? Certainly with Microsoft's focus on E7, with the release of their new discounts and commercials, is it good value? Look, yes, it can be good value if you're using everything. Please speak to us to learn more about whether it's going to be valuable for you. Whether that starts off small scale, POCs, we really want to work with organizations who want to explore that. We do not make any statements at this point. We don't know. We have suspicions, but we have to work with you in partnership to understand this stuff. Like, okay, well, let's find use cases. Is this value? What problem is it solving? Was there a problem? Is there a problem? Is there going to be a problem? Do what? Lots and lots of conversations. Probably the bit we don't know, right? That's the bigger bit we don't know, right? What are the next steps? Yeah, look, engage with us. Let's look at your environment. Let's look at your technical and strategic roadmap. Let's consider your use and adoption of AI agents. Let's look across your general commercial landscape. Actually, does this kind of refocus the fact that Microsoft's attention is going to be on E7? So if E5 is better value for you, if E5 is something that you're looking at, taking advantage of the E5 offers, incentives, fundings, workshops, discounts, maybe that would be sharpen the some sales cliche term to look at that, think, well, actually, does this mean E5 is going to be maybe, it's not their hero SKU, it's not their main thing. So if you're at that precipice, if you're at that point of really reviewing that, then look, you never want to say, buy it now because you won't get discounted again. So I don't think that would be the case. I think E5 is still going to be something Microsoft are very kind of keen to push, certainly something partners are keen to support, to make sure customers are adopting it. It will be a key play towards that move to E5. So I do still think there will be incentives and support, huge support for E5. But maybe once we kind of get into the next FY, Microsoft's next FY from July, even more focus is going to be on E7. Again, what we know, what we don't know, what we're learning. This is, when was this announced? 7 days ago, 6 days ago. So the next steps are speak to us. Let's work with you. Let's work through it. Let's work through your roadmap. Let's work through it in partnership. We will keep you updated. There's more events coming up, blogs, newsletters, webinars. We want your feedback. Tell us your questions. I think there have been questions in the chat. I might just dip into that now. You will get a copy of these slides. I might take a drink of water and hand over to my colleague if there are any questions.
Thanks, Ian. Yeah, you grab a quick glass of water. You've been talking non-stop for 25 minutes. Yeah, to Ian's point, obviously, we've got a few minutes. If anyone's got any questions they'd prefer to raise now, that'd be great. Pause briefly for that. And there's always this awkward point where nobody wants to be the first one to raise their hand. I guess the other sort of request from our side as well, just to reiterate what Ian said, there are some new components to this. Agent 365 is obviously the big one that, it's included, unusually included in a bundle, even though it hasn't actually been released yet itself. It's released on May the 1st. So there are, I believe, plans for us to run a session specifically on Agent 365. If there is anything else, or is there anything else that people would like us to run sessions on, don't feel they know that they're sort of comfortable with, or would like more information in, again, now's an ideal time to let us know, or in terms of giving us feedback on the webinar itself. Again, if you could sort of reference that, it'd be really useful. This has obviously been a hot topic. We've had 120 people sign up, over 90 attend, which is I think a record for one of these types of webinars. But yeah, it'd be useful. Like I say, we're happy to run sessions on whatever anybody would feel appropriate. So please do request if there's things that you would like us to cover. Okay, another awkward pause. No one's volunteering to ask any questions. So, yeah, if that is it, Ian, I don't think there's anything else from our side, is there? So, yeah, I'd like to thank everyone for attending. I'd like to thank Ian for delivering that. As I say, talking non-stop for 25 minutes isn't easy.
Sound of my own voice, absolutely love it. Don't worry about that.
Absolutely. So, yeah, thank you, everybody. Much appreciated. And yeah, we'll no doubt
You.
speak to you all soon.
Thanks all. Thank you.
Thank you.